Hey guys, this is Walden Light from Walden Light Baseball on Instagram and the founder of Build Baseball. Today we are finishing the Building a Foundation Mindset series with episode 6, which is the daily implementation of all the mindset concepts that we have talked about so far. And so let's get right into it. So I'm just going through what I do every morning for the use of these mindset concepts. However, this is up to interpretation and also up to adjustment depending on you as an individual and how you would like to think about it. But the way I think about it as is like a funnel of like you start in like a broader mindset of your future and then you narrow it down to the behavior and the actions that you could take within that day to work towards those goals, because you can't go through the entire day focusing on a future goal or future results. You really just have to pay attention to the moment and work in the present. And so just keep that in mind as I go through these concepts in the order in which I put the concepts in. Now, the first mindset concept I start off with is a future affirmation, because it is the broadest, most abstract end result aspect of this, and it's just what we talked about in the affirmations episode, which is last episode, episode 5. What we talked about then was how this future affirmation is just a meaningful statement, not necessarily quantitative like the goals are, but just based around what you want the end of your life to look like, what you want to look back in your life and see. After that, I want to move into more specifics like goals, and you start off with your more long-term goals and then work into your short-term goals, and that would be starting off with your goals for your career, pretty much, just things that go with like outside a few years in the future, and then you talk about your short-term goals after that, and that would pretty much be anything within a year of your goals. So that could be next 6 months, a month, or a week, or anything like that. They work towards those long-term goals, but you start off with long-term, work to the short-term using that funnel structure. Next, I go into the no list, which you talked about, which is just defining what not to do. And then this is where we start getting into the behavioral part of it, about like the specific personality that you can have throughout the day to work towards this. Then after that, it's the wall of gratitude, which is another mindset concept I've talked about. When I do the wall of gratitude, I do not read all the things that I'm grateful for. I just, if I feel good when I wake up in the morning, I feel positive, then there's no need to read about it. But if I ever feel negative or anything, I could read a few sentences on that. Otherwise, I just acknowledge it. I say the wall of gratitude proves I have an extraordinary life and that I will use today to the best of my ability to make it even better. Also, just use the opportunities that have been granted to me. I say something along those lines. After that, I go into values, which is just the main thing I like to establish, like the basis, which is just what not to do, and then you move into what you should do. That would be down here at values. So we talked about that in the first episode about establishing values, which I feel like is the most important part here for mindset. And then I ended off with the present affirmation, which is just stating a behavioral sentence or phrase about the person that you are currently, and this makes you believe that you are that person over time, and really just get rid of that doubt. And if you eventually believe that you are this person, you also are that person. You just embody the sentence or phrase over time, and then eventually you will work towards that end goal, so long as this is working towards that or is an increment of that. And so that's how I like to set it up. You could obviously change it around. You can have your values first, because they are the most important. I just like to narrow it down. One thing I was thinking about adding, which was reviewing the plan, which is just your plan to get to the goals, like the specific things you do every day, like the specific drills that you do in practice, or the split you do for your lifting, anything like that. However, I was just thinking that when you make your plan, you should have it in a way that it's no need to review it. Maybe you could just have a piece of paper with you, or just have Google Docs on your phone, and you could go through that throughout the day. Maybe have a checklist on your phone. That way you don't need to necessarily review it. You just know that when you start off the day, you can go through those tasks, and that's how I feel is the most productive way to work. Instead of just reviewing everything you need to do that day, it's better just to go out and do this. So this process takes about 5 minutes, like 3 to 5 minutes. It's really not a long time, but once you start making these mindset concepts meaningful, then when you say them out loud to yourself every morning, over time you will know what you're working towards, you know the person that you want to be, and that really just sets you up for the day and puts you in the best position to be successful for that day. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for watching this Building a Foundation Mindset series. I've had a lot of fun doing it, talking about the different mindset concepts that have helped me so far and they will continue to help me in the future. I'd like to state again that I am not a professional athlete, obviously. I do not even play in college yet. I've just done a lot of research on the concept of mindset because I felt like that's been the aspect of baseball development that has held me back the most. And so I've spent a lot of time on it outside of practice and strength and conditioning and everything like that. So this is a very meaningful area of baseball development for me, and that's why I want to make the first series of Walden Light Baseball on YouTube about this concept and how to really just set yourself up for it, because I haven't talked about this before, but there are tons of athletes that, although they may not use the same terminology as I do, they use the same concepts. For example, Francisco Lindor, he writes BC on his glove, similar to 3C, which is the values that I promote here at Walden Light Baseball and that are my personal values. But Francisco Lindor writes BC on his glove, and that stands for be consistent, because he has been told this by his dad, by his teammates, by his coaches throughout his life, and he felt like it's helped him be the most successful on the field. And that's just one example. There are a lot of successful athletes that set goals, that work towards those goals, that have a mindset structure or a guideline for them to follow. And some of them are based around positivity or just based around determination. You could definitely go look that up, look up brands of these different types of professional athletes and just see the different types of approaches they have for life and perceptions they have on the world around them, and that's a great start too. So thank you guys for tuning into this series. Subscribe to Walden Light Baseball to get more videos on baseball development, and I'll catch you guys next time, and remember, you only have one.